All right. We're a little on a Spartan mood today in terms of the equipment, but we'll try to do our best. There's a question of which I was perplexed throughout the years all the time. I really couldn't understand. Why didn't Aaron get punished when Moshe Rabbeinu came down and he built the Egel? I mean, after all, he did do an Avarah. He built the Egel. He took the gold. He said to them, take all your gold earrings, nose rings, belly button rings, all the gold. Bring it to me. Took it, threw it in the fire. This Egel came out. Why didn't he get punished for this? I mean, he took it, he put it in the fire. He told him what to do. What was going on? And then he says, oops, what can I do? And he didn't get punished. So first of all, let's look at the whole picture. Let's just not look at the segment, on the little particle. What happened? What happened was Moshe Rabbeinu went up to the mountain. Before he went to the mountain, as in any other good leader, again, I think that one day we should sit down and analyze all of Moshe Rabbeinu's actions and to write a book about Jewish leadership. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went up, did not leave a vacancy. He left two people behind him. He left Hur and he left Aharon. Aharon to be Meshamesh Bakodesh, and Hur to do the political, diplomatic, the other leadership. So he made sure that there's going to be a division. And it's going to be clear. Not going to be one person to assume power and not to leave a vacancy. He made sure he's responsible. And yet, all of a sudden, we don't hear about Hur. As a matter of fact, we don't hear about Hur altogether from this point on. What happened? What happened? What happened is very simple. They killed him. The mob, when Hur came, said, what's wrong with you? What are you guys doing? You can't do it. They killed him. Aharon knows that he's next. Now you say, so what, Aaron was a coward? No, Aaron was not a coward. Aaron did something wise. Aaron did something that out in the open, at least he didn't get punished. He got punished later on in a more discreet way when two of his sons died, when they brought Esh Zara, foreign fire, foreign sacrifice, which will deal with Hashem when we come to it. He got punished, and he was picked on his two kids, as the Gemara says, because he didn't have kids, and so on and so forth. So this is how he was punished. However, Aaron himself was not punished, and the reason is very simple. Aaron saw that Hur was killed. He said, if they're going to kill me, he didn't care about himself. But he said, if they would kill me, they will go into a state in which they cannot ever fix it. Chazal tell us that Am Yisrael did what they did so we can learn tshuva of the tzibur, of the community. That a tzibur, not only an individual, can do tshuva. The other capital sin that happened was Chet Adam HaRishon. There is a similarity in concept between Adam HaRishon and what happened to Am Yisrael there. Adam HaRishon, when he did the Averah, right? And only did tshuva. And they say, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Al Tikra'u Shabbat, Ela Mizmor Shir Leyom HaTeshuvah, for doing tshuva. Shabbat Milshon tshuva. That's why the first thing that a Baal Tshuva does, he feels the urge to keep Shabbat. Adam HaRishon included all the bodies of neshamot of all mankind. So therefore he showed us that an individual can do tshuva, could repent. But how do we know that a tzibur, a group of people can do that? Because Am Yisrael, when they received the Torah, they came to the state, they fixed the damage of Adam HaRishon, they brought themselves, the spiritual entity, into a level of pre-sin. Now they sinned. Now he showed us that they can make tshuva as a whole. Aaron said, if they would kill me, they will go into an irreversible stage. And for that, there could not be a kapara. So therefore, he took it upon himself. He said he took it and he threw it into the fire. So it happens, and just tell us, that the two characters, right? What was the name? Datan and Aram. When they took the note in which they brought the Aron of Yosef up, they threw it over there. Ale Shor. Right? Ale Shor. Shor is an ox. So the ox came. It says, Alam min ha'esh. It came out from the fire. Because they threw the thing in. Here's the thing, was it said, I'll get some time. I'll let them do something. They can make kapara on that. They can make tshuva on that. But for killing a prophet, for killing two prophets, and then be left with no leadership, there will be no guiding hand, and who knows what's going to happen. So he took it upon himself, an avera lichora, similarly that he did a sin, in order to try to save and to minimize the damage of Am Yisrael. This is a noble act. That's what Moshe, not only that he didn't get punished out in the open, he was remained as a highly priest. There is a similar case to that. Now we're in Adar Aleph. As soon as Adar Bet. And in Adar comes the story of
Purim.
And who is the main character in Purim? Esther.
Oh.
What Esther did was wrong. The Halacha says, the Rambam says, if they are being captive, and they came to they took Jewish prisoners, and they say, give us one, and we're going to violate her, and will you all be saved? Nobody is allowed to go and hand over themselves. That's what the Halacha says. So the question is, how did Esther was allowed, and we actually celebrate it, we call it Megillat Esther, we name it after her. Because what Esther did was Mesirat Nefesh, handing over her own soul, her own being, for the sake of Am Yisrael. So the Gemara says, to do such a thing, to save Klal Yisrael, in that case, is different than to save a group of people. Klal Yisrael means all the Jews. So that's called Mesirat Nefesh. Aharon HaKohen did in a way an action that is similar to that. We always concentrate on the act of the Egel and the this and the that and so on and so forth. But we don't acknowledge, and we fail to acknowledge, and therefore fail to learn the action of Aharon. So sometimes it will be halachically okay to do that also. I mean, of course, you need to have broad shoulders and ability to reason why you did that. But sometimes you need to find the worst of both evils. If you know a person is going to do an averah, what will be the lesser averah that he would do so he can keep a bigger mitzvah? Because if you're going to tell him no for everything, he's not going to keep anything. So you try to minimize the damage. You're not trying to appease. You're trying to minimize the damage. But that, of course, is not for everybody to do. That's only for people who have broad enough shoulders and great enough knowledge and a big enough heart to do that. Yes, a big enough heart. Not an appeasing. This is not an appeasing act. And what Aharon did is not an appeasing act. Aharon sacrificed, put himself in danger for the sake of the people, to give him a way to repent. And as you see the action, Moshe does not rebuke him. Moshe takes the egel, because Moshe understands, shreds the egel, and spreads the ashes and let the people drink it like a sotah. That's what the Mefarshim tell us. And that is a noble act. To be able to put yourself in danger, to sacrifice yourself, to hand over yourself for the sake of others. And that is something that we all could do. We live in a generation that is an extremely selfish generation. We only think about ourselves. In all aspects of life. Even when it comes to learning, we are very selfish. We have to understand that you need to give. And as we demonstrated the other night, the more you have, the less you can get. That you're going to only be able to get up to a certain amount. If you want to get more, you have to start giving. The cup cannot pour itself and feed others unless it reaches a level of saturation. And saturation is go way over the top of the cup, the brim of the cup, and then only then it spills down and then floods it. That's the remez that we give in Havdalah, that we pour and we overflow it. It's called kos shel bracha. Kos shel bracha needs to overflow because you want the bracha to overflow. But in order for overflow, you need somebody to keep on pouring it. So even if you reach a level of saturation, you think, I already know enough, I'm big enough, I'm so on and so forth. You have to have a source that keeps on pouring you. And you have to make sure that it's the same source. Because if you have wine poured into your cup, if you pour olive oil or you put grape juice, olive juice will be the same. You pour orange juice, even grape juice if it's too diluted in water, you're already changing the bracha of the cup. At a certain point, it won't be wine appropriate to make a bracha on or to make a kiddush for. And that is something for us to learn. The ability to be selfless. Aharon Kohen also was a selfless person. That's why he was a Kohen. Because you're going to be Mesharet Bakodesh. When you're going to be a servant in holiness, you cannot be selfish. We can all become Klei Kodesh. We can all become holy vessels. But the number one ingredient to become a true holy vessel is first of all to become a vessel that has the willingness to receive. And then, in order to become a true holy vessel, a Kli Kodesh, one has to become selfless. Have a great day.